This lesson is about solving proportions like these by cross-multiplying. Cross-multiplying says that if we have a fraction set equal to a fraction, we can make a new equation by taking the diagonals, multiply, so that would be 24x, and setting them equal to the other diagonal, multiplied. 6 times 9 is 54. And then you solve from there and get your answer. So of course, I will divide both sides by 24. So that's going to give me x equals 9 over 4. Please go ahead and leave it as a fraction. Similarly, number 18, I can make a new equation by going like this. That's 6y, and setting that equal to this. 9 times 4 is 36. Of course, if I divide both sides by 6, that's going to give me y equals 6. Number 19. I can make a new equation by multiplying these, so 24m, and setting them equal to these. Let's see, 17 times 120, that's 2040. Divide by 24. That's 85. Okay. Let's take a look at number 20. Alright, number 20, slightly more complicated, but let's see what we've got here. I can make one side of my equation by multiplying these, so that will be 8x. But then I can make another side of my equation by multiplying these. Now, let me show this step. 6 times x plus 3, because I'm going to have to do the distributive property to get this done. So that's going to be 8x equals 6x plus 18. Time to subtract 6x from both sides, yes? So that's going to give me 2x is equal to 18. Of course, now we'll divide by 2. And I will get x equals 9. Alright, number 21. Let's see, how shall we proceed, my friends? Alright, if I do this diagonal, I'm doing 3 times y plus 3. But then if I do this diagonal, I'm doing 4 times y minus 4. So this is going to give me 3y plus 9. This is going to give me 4y minus 16. So I choose to subtract 3y from both sides. Anytime you have a variable on both sides, you should move one over to get those together by subtracting or doing the opposite. So these cancel out, of course. So that's going to leave me with 9 is equal to 1y, which is just y, minus 16. Add 16 to both sides, and we're done. Plus 16 plus 16. So it's going to be y equals 25. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at number 22. Yeah. So if I do this diagonal, that's going to be 3 times 2y minus 7. If I do this diagonal, that's going to give me 5y. if I do the distributive property, that's going to give me 6y minus 21 is equal to 5y. Okay, just be very careful. Kids will often make a mistake right now because when you, well, you know what, maybe I'll just do it this way. I started to subtract 5y from both sides because I like to have positive numbers. But kids get confused if I subtract the 5y. They're like, what do I do? There's nothing there. It would just be a 0. 0 is a number. There's nothing wrong with that. But then I remembered I could avoid the problem by just moving the 6y over instead. Which, you know, I like to keep numbers positive, so this goes against everything I believe in. Let me be melodramatic. So that would be negative 21 is equal to negative 1y. I'm just going to put negative y. Now to get y positive, because I can't leave it like that, I am going to divide both sides by negative 1, like this. So that's going to give me positive 21 is equal to y. Okay, so that's my answer to number 22. All right, let's take a look at 23. All right, for 23, if I do this diagonal, that's going to be 15x. If I do this diagonal, that's going to equal 30. Divide both sides by 15. And x equals 2. Number 24. If I do this diagonal, that's 5y. If I do this diagonal, that's 20. Divide both sides by 5. I have y equals 4. Let's take a look at number 25. If I do this diagonal, I've got 30m. If I do this diagonal, I've got 2,400. If I divide by 30 on both sides, then I've got m is equal to 80. Okay, we are in the home stretch, man. Number 26. If I do this diagonal, I'm doing 16 times x plus 2. If I do this diagonal, then I have 4 times x plus 5. Distributive property, 2 times, and I've got 16x plus 32 is equal to 4x plus 20. Again, anytime you have a variable on both sides of the equation, you should pull those together by nuking one of them this way. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. This is my way of getting the x's on the same side. So this is going to give me 12x plus 32 is equal to 20. Of course, now I will subtract 32 from both sides. So that's going to give me 12x is equal to negative 12. Time to divide both sides by 12. And I get x is equal to -1. Number 27, if I do this diagonal, I'm doing 15 times y minus 2. If I do this diagonal, I've got 3y. So that's going to be 15y minus 30 is equal to 3y. I do not like these negative numbers, but rather than getting a 0 over here, which confuses people, I will subtract the 15y from both sides. So that's going to give me -30 is equal to -12y. Time to divide both sides by -12. So that's going to give me y equals 5/2. Okay, last problem. If I do this diagonal, I am doing 3 times y minus 3. If I do this diagonal, I'm doing 2y. Little distributive property here. And I've got 3y minus 9 equals 2y. Now I shall subtract 3y from both sides. And that's going to give me -9 is equal to -y. To get rid of the negative sign, I will divide both sides by -1. So that's going to give me +9. That is the answer to number 28. That's it for this assignment.